Hey, this is Ronald Carroll from the Skills University, and today I want to show you how to do basic animation in Krita for beginners. Bye. And this is part 5 of my introduction to Krita lessons for beginners using a mouse. Let's start with new image. Make sure it's 1920 by 1080p and click create. Once you're here, go up to window, go down to workspace and over to animation. Click on animation and you'll see this. If you notice they change your workspace, go up to settings, down to Dockers, bring in advanced color selector, back to settings, down to Dockers, and bring in your brush presets. Now we're good to go. Over here, this looks the same, but these are the layers that correspond to our animation layers down here. If I come down and click on the plus here, I can add a new layer. I can also disable this one and work on just a new layer or a separate animation piece. You go over here to these dots and move to the left, you'll add more frames on your timeline here. Drag it some more to the left. As you can see, they'll keep populating into the hundreds. Let's go back over here since we're not going to work with more than 24 frames. Over here, I can go step by step, left to right, play, yada, yada. I can jump to a specific frame, like 5 or 6. I can change my speed here. This is important if you have a slow system or you have a lot of animation and you don't mind if it skips a frame or two here or there. But preferably, you want to keep that on selected. You want all your frames to be rendered so you have a smooth playback. Over here, I can add a blank frame, duplicate a frame, and remember we're talking about keyframes here, or I can remove a keyframe. We have onions over here, and I'll explain that in a second. That's going to show you previous frames and upcoming frames. Over here, I have my sound. I can import audio like footsteps or voiceovers. Click on that, let that play. I'll get that. I would probably do my voiceovers and everything else inside a video editor. The hamburger is very important because this is frame 0 right here. We always start on frame 1. If I have 20 frames, for example, I can put 20 right there, and now that will loop. Otherwise, it's going to keep running up to 100. Of course, the standard frames per second is 24. If I cut that down to 12, I'll slow it down. 6, slow it down even more. 36, I'll speed this up. I can also speed that up right here, but this is more efficient. And then over here, we have two things. Auto blank. If I move forward, add a blank frame as we go along. And I'll talk about onions in a minute as we start animating. I am still using a mouse in this lesson number 5. Let's create some shapes and have them arc like a rainbow. Let's go over to frame 0. Move over 1 frame and then just start drawing. Make sure I'm on black up here. Change the size, whatever I want, the brush. Use any brush you want. I'm just going to use brush number 3 here, whatever that's called. A circle. Now let's move over 1 again. If you notice, you don't see the first one now, and that's what onions are for. Let's create a square, kinda. Move over 1 again. And let's create something different. Let's go over 1 again. And we'll make this a circle again. Now you see what I'm doing here. I'm just going over 1 and animating. Now let's talk about onions. So let's do this first. If you notice, I can't see anything in these previous frames. So what I want to do is go down here. And this is onion. So if I click on this, this is the frame I'm on right now. This allows me to see 1, 2, 3 frames back only. From 1 and go up. If I click on the top blue, I'll disable that. At this point from here, I can see 3 frames going back and 3 frames going forward. That's what onions do for you. Let's click on onion to get rid of that. But to see that, go over here and click on this light bulb, right? Or the onion scan. Now I can see every single animation. And the one I'm on is going to be highlighted as black. and these will be green. If I click on this, now it will show me where this is going. But again, according to the onion, I'm going to see 3 in front of what I'm working on and 3 behind. And that's important. Let's go over here to this one, and we can turn the onion skin off or on. You can see that's what's going on right there. And let's create something else. And one more. And let's go off the screen like that. If I go back to the beginning and I played that, that's what I'll have. Go over here to the hamburger and change the frame rate to 12. I'll get that. And this now will loop if I change this to 11, because I have 11 frames here. If I want to slow it down some more, I'll change the frame rate to 6 or 36. This is how animation works. I can just stop that. I can also just use my arrow keys and go over one at a time if I want to see what's going on step by step and make changes to it. Now let's do a face and have the face talking to you. We'll do something very simple like this. Grab your brush, any brush you want. We're on frame number 1. And let's just make a face here. Any kind of face, doesn't matter. And then we'll have eyes. Potato head. Move over. Now we're going to make a copy of that. So press Alt or Option, Control or Command, and drag it over. So now we should have 2 copies of it. Open the mouth on the second one here. Go to our Fill tool. Press F as in Frank. And left click in there. We have open, close. Now I'll make 1 copy of each clip and I'll put one before the other. So I'll have closed, open, closed, open. Then using the same import method I showed you earlier, I'll bring in some vocals. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye. Now let's render the first animation. Go up to File and come down to Render. This is useful because it's going to render as individual ping files. Each individual frame will render separately, or I can make changes 1 frame at a time. And these are the options. I can export this as a video. Click on that. And now I can go down here and change it to anything I want. So let's go ahead and do that. This is what it looks like. What's great about this software is that this rendered 2 ways. It rendered as a MPEG file, but also frame by frame. If you have any comments, suggestions, or ideas, or would like to see me do something in particular, please let me know. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Peace.